Hi there, Libra. Welcome to your end of November 2023 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. I think, is this two cards or one card? I guess it's just one card. Wow. It's amazing. It doesn't happen. Well, let me pick I don't end with the Ten of Swords, so I'm going to pick a clarification card. Wow. Okay. Very rarely do I have a situation that is very, like, consistent with the cards of like a certain meaning. And I realize that just because you're born under one sign, it doesn't mean everybody's going through the same thing. So maybe this is a very specific message to a certain percentage of Libra individuals. But what I think about first is that solar eclipse back in mid-October, which is, as I record this, which is about a month ago. And what it really meant, because a solar eclipse is actually a new moon on steroids, they call it. And it's considered to really emphasize in with the new. But this one was in conjunction with the South Node. So there was that element that the past and even like the faded past or the karmic, something karmic was connected to this. So it's like, it's kind of like something leaving and something coming in. So there is that theme of newness, but there's also this theme of endings. And that's what I see here. So we start with the central theme, which is the Four of Pentacles. This, you can see this woman is clutching her coin purse. Pentacles relates to money and anything of this earth. So it can also relate to earth signs. The three earth signs in astrology are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And it's funny because I'm thinking, oh, is it Capricorn? Because 4 is connected to the planet Saturn, and that is the ruler of Capricorn. So, but anyway, the idea is with this card is it can mean that you're being very vigilant about your finances, because maybe you need to be. Maybe you have to, dare I say, have a budget. That might be a word that puts Libra people into, gives them hives. They break out in an allergic reaction because you like to, I think a lot of Libra people, just by itself as a sign, are free spending because you like to have things that are nice. You like luxury. So, having to pinch pennies is not your cup of tea. But sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles, right? And but other possibilities are the person who is handling their money very well for whatever reason. They're just like really on point with their finances. Sometimes it can be excessive greed, that the person is too covetous, too clinging to material resources when they really don't have to be. I don't see Libra as that type of person per se, but certain circumstances can influence a person, perhaps. But I'm just going to keep going because it'll give more information. In the past position, we have the Six of Cups, which is a card of the past. This can be connected to Cancer, the sign of Cancer, nostalgia. Also, children are connected to the Six of Cups. And this whole idea of um, maybe a simpler time, perhaps like childhood itself. Oh, yeah. And you've had Pluto, when it went back into Capricorn, it went into your fourth house of home and family. But it was, when it was retrograding, it was very introspective. So I feel like you may have pinpointed this. Some of you may have kind of like figured out why you have been unhappy, and you might have realized that your life is too complicated, that there's too many balls to juggle, that you long for the good old days. And sometimes, like in terms of life path, I think of the Six of Cups as that thing that you were passionate about when you were young, that you kind of let go of at a certain point, because maybe you thought that it was childish, or that it was something that was just like a hobby, or it wasn't something to take seriously. Like, for instance, if somebody is a good artist, a drawer, they might just be like, okay, I'm a good artist, and then they move on. They go to college and they major in something, but it's not art. And they do their work and they make their money, but they're always like a little bit empty. And I think a lot of times that midlife crisis kicks in, and that's when people are like, I can't do this anymore. But, truth be told, in the past few years, I think more and more people are following their bliss. They're less interested in just doing something for the material reasons. But with the Four of Pentacles, you may be torn because you don't have that kind of, maybe you don't have faith at this moment that you can actually do it. So that's part of the issue. And by the way, the Six of Cups is also the soulmate card, so it could speak to somebody who is in your past that you have been kind of, maybe you still never got over that person, and they are now back in the picture. The higher message is the Six of Swords. This is a card of choosing peace and moving towards, calmer waters, if you will. But this can also be physical relocation. I put this in the position of the higher message, which is not really read as literally, is more of like symbolic of the spiritual side of things right now for you. And to me, this would suggest that if you are, let's say you're working someplace and there is a lot of conflict, or it just doesn't feel very harmonious, which is what Libra is all about. That's what your whole shtick is about, is being harmonious. It's not worth it, But for some of you, the Four of Pentacles can simply be a strategy. Like, you're like, I'm going to save all my money. I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to buy any new clothes for the next year, because I'm going to save it so that I can open my own business, or I can move, or I can, you feel, I think like with the Six of Swords, for some people, moving, it's not just doing something for the sake of change. It's doing something that shifts your energy. And it's like symbolic also of leaving something behind that doesn't serve you anymore. There's that term, geographical cure, which relates to people who just move because they think that if they're going to change their whole life just by moving. And yeah, maybe in some cases you can do that, but I feel like if you're not open to change, and you don't see where the areas where you need to change, then that's just on the surface. It's not going to ultimately change much of anything. What crosses you is the Wheel of Fortune. This one in this deck they call it the wheel. They don't say a fortune. And really, I was wondering why they do that, but I think one of the reasons is because they want to emphasize cycles in life by saying the wheel. Because when you say Wheel of Fortune, then people focus on the fortune. Like, oh wow, I'm gonna be so lucky, and I'm gonna have all this money and everything. And it's really about the wheel or the cycles. And like the natal chart is a form of a wheel, and that everything, and that deals in cycles too. So when you had that solar eclipse and it was in your sign, it was kind of like initiating the next year and a half for you. And when people aren't, when they're not like into astrology, or they don't understand it at a deeper level, they may not pick up on that. But basically, life is a series of cycles. And if you're somebody that has been maybe like getting a divorce, for instance, and it feels really like your life has been turned upside down, the wheel is saying, well, that is the particular cycle that you're in. It's not really that fun because there are some challenges. A season, you could call it a season that you're in, but it's a cycle. And during the eclipse cycle with your sign and your opposite sign of Aries, it's something to understand, is that there can be these changes, maybe in some cases they're unwanted changes in your life on your end of things that show up. And in retrospect, like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line, you may look at it and say, oh wow, I'm so glad that X, Y, and Z happened. Or I probably wouldn't have left that job. I probably would still be there right now if that thing didn't happen. Or that relationship, I'd probably still be in that relationship. And part of that is because people think, oh wow, I have to hold on to this. Kind of like the Four of Pentacles is that covetous nature, that clinging nature to what is solid. The pentacles are the tangible things in life. And sometimes it feels uncomfortable to step out on faith when you don't have that proof that everything's going to be okay. Because that's when you realize that there's a lot to be said for being able to jump and the net is provided for you. What's coming in is the Three of Wands. This is another card that I think, wow, this is a card of expansion, but especially like your environment. So with the Six of Swords, I would not be surprised if some of you are actually either thinking about moving or in the process of it. And it's like knowing that there's more out there than what you are currently dealing with, and having a spirit of adventure, not just being, maybe in the past you were kind of willing to just kind of go along with the program, but now you are more curious about, how is this going to manifest for me, and realizing that you hold the key to making it happen. Now, when I picked the last card, I got the Ten of Swords, which, I didn't have to really pick another card. I'd say I don't end with the Ten of Swords. This is a card of betrayal. They have these black birds, so it can indicate negative uh, situations, like conflict or drama or negative thoughts, negative speech. But it can also be that you've hit bottom and now it's only up from here. So for any of you who have gone through some kind of betrayal, maybe your partner cheated, your boss lied, something that felt very disappointing occurred, and you're still trying to get over it, understand that you could easily be on the upswing. So I picked a clarification card. I got a reverse card, which is the judgment card in reverse. So maybe the one thing that you have to work on is having better judgment. In who you get involved with, in what kind of workplace that you agree to work in. Don't undercut, or don't that's not what I mean, not undercut, but don't undervalue or underplay how important it is maybe for you to experience loyalty or some sort of commitment in a relationship, not just commitment that is legal, like a marriage in the house that you rule, commitment in terms of the person is really fully involved. Maybe you were so interested in being in a relationship that you didn't realize how much there was lacking overall. And when it comes to the workplace, also what you can tolerate and what you can't. I think that is something that may not have been, you may not have, you glossed over it. Being an air sign and being more detached, you might have thought, hey, I can handle this. And then you realize, no, this really does affect me adversely at a deep level. Okay, Libra, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double astrological readings called my deep dive readings, which are an hour of natal chart analysis with an hour of transits for a special price. I actually have another package deal that includes a full-length tarot reading called the Whole Enchilada, and I have individual readings. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at rainamoonastrology.com. Thank you for watching. Bye.